Hello and welcome to another video. In this video I will cover the functions. So without further delay, let's get started. So I will cover the functions. So what is function, right? So if you already have the programming background, that's good. So you already understand the functions, but in the plain English, it's simply the group of instruction, right? And it's rather than trying to repeat that writing the code again and again, you basically call that function, right? And it will perform that, execute that piece of code again and again. Okay, to as a simple terms, functions, if I see, let me show you before. So in order to write a function, you just use def and then you say, okay, sum, right? If I say sum plus 2 function, right? Plus 2, and then I'll put some variable here, right? Number, and basically if I'll say return number plus 2. So basically what this function does, whatever I will supply the number, it will basically return me plus 2. So I don't have to, and if I enter it and then I simply call that plus 2, and let's say I'll put 10 here, right? And put an enter, and you see this function is executed. So basically my function has only one line, number 2, right? And it's execute the number 12 here because I passed 10. So that's from the function side, right? So whatever I does, it give me some perform some action and give back. So there are so many built-in functions in Python, right? So for example, if I say max, right? So if I call max, I'll say 2, 3, and 4. These are built-in function as well, right? So it's giving me that out of 2, 3, 4, the 4 is a max. Similarly, I have a min function, right? Built-in. I say 2, 3, and 4. I have a built-in function. So whatever I don't create, so those are like a built-in function, and the tons of functions are available. There are certain cases. This is a very simple example. What happens if I have, let's say, 2 or 3 numbers I want to give? So let's say I'll create another function. I'll say sum of values, right? And this time I'll give 3 number 1, number 2, and number 3. Again, the syntax is anytime, so basically just put a semicolon, and then I can write anything, but here I'll just return number 1, number 2, and number 3, right? So basically I have to put a plus here, right? And it will simply work. So this is, even if I'll just do here, just to show you that, and then I can also return. So just want to show you that how the number of lines. So any instruction can be added here, right? So if I enter it, and now if I call my sum and put a tab, you see the function is already available, right? So I'll say 10, 20, 30, and enter. So it's already gave me 60 number, right? And within the function, you can make it fancy if you want to check if let's say the number 1, right, or it should be greater than 0, right, or number 2 is greater than 0, or number 3 is greater than 0. So rather than all, maybe I'll just use, then only it will basically, I'm just showing you how to optimize it, right, this function. So maybe if you don't want to accept any negative value, in that case I'll just put and here as a simple example, right? And then if I enter this, if I enter this here, it's gives 60, right? Because all 3 numbers are greater than 0. let's change it a little bit, right? So if any one number, if I'll pass as negative, it will show the 0. Why? Because it won't be evaluated, right? So that's how you define the function as simple. So maybe I'll just rename this Python function, right? Enter it. So this is how these functions can be easily seen. Let's try some built-in functions which will be very handy while doing the data analysis. So let's import a library called math, and once I import it, so if I say math dot, let's say it has square, QR, and if I put type, why is coming like this? Just a minute, sorry. It's QRT. If I put, let's say 400 and enter, okay, so basically just type, let's say we want to try some functions. You can see we have a lot of functions within library. For example, most commonly used are absolute, we can use floor, and so on, right? Log function, log2, log to the power 10. I'll square root, so let's try square root, and if I press 400, and we know the square root of 400 is 20. Similarly, if I want to try the power function, which is POW, if I want the power of 2 to the, if you want to see how the documentation of it, so just press shift tab, and there you can see, and if I press this, it can see that x to the power of y, right? So I need 2 parameters. So if I need x to the power 4 and then press shift enter, it's giving me 16, right? Then I just close this one. So that's a very common handy of shift and tab, and sometime we don't know, and most of the time basically I'll use this if I'm not very familiar. So that's quite it, and hopefully you like this video. So feel free to smash that like button and help subscribe to the channel and help me reach kindly please to the 1000 subscriber. I really appreciate, and if you can put a comment as well. So see you soon in next video. Bye for now. Hi, welcome to this. So let's extend our functions a little bit, and in this video I will cover the arbitrary length and the default parameters of a functions. So basically in the preceding sessions we have covered how to create a functions with one or multiple the arguments. So let's say if we don't pass any value, right, and then what should be the function, or we say the default value of the function. So I'll start with this one. So here, for example, if I won't pass any value like plus 2, right, and then just, you see it's giving me error. It say at least it's require one value. So for that, let's say if I have put this as a default value of, let's say, of 0, right, then what will happen? Okay, I put it enter, and then now if I go and call this again, it's giving me 2 values. Why? Because it takes the default value of 0, right? So similarly I can add a default value, any default value here as well, right? So I can also have similarly on the other functions here, I can have some default value, right? So I can say equal 1 blah blah, right? I don't want to show that, but you get the idea. So that's how the default value works. Another thing I would like to add here, for example, if we have this function, right, where we should have some range. So for example, if I define any functions where I'll select the maximum, my max function, right, my max function, and I'll just pass args, right? So what this is saying, it will we can able to pass as a number of parameters here as a list with these functions. And if I pass as a max and just pass args, why not I just return at the same time and press enter. So now this function is selected. So if I want to have my function, and let's say if I want to say, let's say I have the value called 10, 20 and 30, and if I press enter, you see I'll got my result back that as a max value is 30.